Black Friday. Everyone loves a saving, right? Well, Whilton Mill had a discount code that brought the arrive and drive on the international track down from £65 to £45.50. The spaces were filling very quickly, but Dan, Paul, Sky and myself managed to get booked on. The weather forecast wasn't great, with rain due all day long. Thankfully, as we got into the karts to start the 1 o'clock session, it was nowhere to be seen. The temperature is low, the tyres are cold and the track is damp. I get a rather large slide coming out of the pits. We've got two 20-minute sessions on the full-length international layout, the same layout I drove earlier in the year, but in much better conditions. I don't expect to be going anywhere near as quickly today. The Alpha Live timing system wasn't actually functioning correctly, unfortunately, so the times displayed are accurate to the nearest tenth of a second only. Our fastest times and positions are all we knew. I quickly passed my first car on the run down to Ashby Corner. They clearly didn't feel the need to slow down though, and run straight off into the grass. Thankfully, the yellow flags are only displayed on parts of the track where the incident is, so I'm not affected by his mistake. I passed the next car on the run into Ozier's. I seem to have found the grip a lot quicker than some of the other drivers. I do apologise for the wind noise in this video. The wind was so strong my helmet was being pushed around and made my head feel very heavy. I've also had to move the position of my GoPro. I wasn't allowed it on my chin like I normally do. I had to position it on the top. I didn't have much time to line it up all that properly. For the first time at an outdoor track, I remembered to enable the GPS function on my GoPro. The video gets the GPS data embedded into it, and it means using the GoPro app, you can add overlays to the video like this. I tried to add the track map too, but I'd have had to cut each lap into its own clip to get it to export properly. It didn't like going around in circles. It didn't take me long to realise though that I didn't like the look of this. So I imported the videos into the Race Chrono app instead and changed the speedo to this. And it means I can add the track map too. Paul had to change kart due to an issue with the steering, so he was last out of the pits. I've caught up and quickly find a way past him. I'm still trying to find the grip, so I'm sure I'll get that lap time to come down shortly. There's a spun car to Ozier's, so I back off for those yellow flags. As soon as I'm past the incident, I'm back to greens. Kart 7 waved me through at turn 1, leaving Sky up next for me. She is really struggling to find the grip. This is a situation where her lightness is not an advantage. I spot a kart going backwards into Ozier's, so I have to lift off once again. It wasn't going to be an easy pass, but I was more confident on the brakes into Christmas corner. And I spy the red suit of Dan up ahead. He's progressing well, but I'm faster. I'm starting to find the limits of the grip now as I have a little lock-up going into Ashby. Dan has just caught the inside curve on the final corner and gets a big slide. I just drive by into turn 1. But he tried to come back, the tyres are in the way for turn 2 and the grip is better on the outside, so I can get on the power, nice and early. A kart loses it right in front of me on the exit of Osiers. I'm safely able to navigate past though. And there's a kart facing the wrong way on the grass through the boot. Despite the tricky conditions, I seem to have picked up the kart quite well. I'm finding my way past the other karts fairly easily. I tried to take turn 1 flat out, but I got a load of understeer instead. Track's not quite ready for that just yet. There's another spinner at Christmas corner, so I back off early once again. At least the final corner is flat out now. A slight lift as I turn in just prevents that understeer. The tyres are still in the way, so I'm using the wider line through turn 2. I've caught some more karts again now, and it looks like Sky is a part of this group. Seems I scared Sky into running wide at the final corner. Unfortunately, the camera didn't quite catch it, but as she went over those rumble curves, she got soaked. I'm past a couple more of those slower karts quite easily here, to find another kart facing the wrong way in the final corner. There's yellows going into turn 1 as Sky has spun off, but this driver doesn't understand and dangerously passes me at speed. If he'd hit some water or had understeer, he'd have been driving straight at that marshal. To top it off, he manages to hit Sky at Christmas corner 2. I perform a switchback whilst he's spinning off that curb. Contact warning for car 18. That'll be that dangerous driver. This was my fastest lap of the session, so I'll leave it to play in full. I was able to take a dry line for pretty much the entire lap there. I was still not confident going into Christmas corner though, it's still just a little bit too damp. Speaking of Christmas corner, there's yellow flags here for another spun kart. I've caught Paul again, so will I get past before the end of this lap? We get yellows at Ogiers as that kart returns to the track unsafely. I get the run out of the final corner, but the checkered flag is already out. The track is under yellow flags. I was fastest on this session though. Paul was 4th, Dan in 5th, and Sky had a hard time all the way down in 8th. We were told between the sessions that we'd be stopped on the back straight for about 5 minutes and we could get out of the car, stretch our legs, etc. During those 5 minutes, the tyres obviously got cold and the rain also decided to make an appearance. It was only very light, but it was raining. With very little warning, we were back in the karts and setting off again for session 2. I didn't even finish putting my gloves on before I was driving. I knew the tyres would be cold and there was still very, very light rain, so I decided to test the grip. Whoops. Not wanting to drive on the mud, I waited to be pushed back into place. This session will be slower then. The track is damp, the rain is still falling. These are conditions that I have very little experience in. Turn 1 is very slippery and it looks like someone else found out the hard way as the tyres are back on the track once again. You can just about see the rain cloud. It was due to rain heavily at 2 p.m. It's now about 1:45. Everyone is finding these conditions tricky. It's yellows at Christmas again. There's a cart on the grass. I hadn't seen the other cart spin. I technically shouldn't have overtaken there, but we were clear. And there's a cart off at Ashby 2, just to add to the fun. This guy tried to take a tight line, so I left him space, unsure what his plan actually was. He ended up sliding into my path. I have watched this back in slow motion, and although we did make contact, he was going to be spinning either way. Here's Sky then, still struggling with that lack of grip it seems, so it's an easy pass for me. Wherever I put this cart, I just seem to have grip. There's a cart stuck backwards in the barrier on the exit of turn 2. That might take a little while to clear, but I'm hoping the marshal will spot the tyre barrier issue and sort that as well. There's no more yellow flags, but unfortunately the tyres are still on the track. The marshal can't see it from where he's positioned. The rain has now mostly stopped and I've started to find a bit of that grip again. I spoke too soon. That rain's come back. Yellow flags are out coming into the boot. There's 2 stranded karts. And another car is in the barriers at turn 2. Surely this time the marshal will notice the tyres. Just as I started to think about passing the car, I noticed Christmas corner is yellow too. The return of this rain has caught a lot of people out. Yay! The tyres have been put back. The rain has stopped again and that grip is picking up. That's more like it. No rain, no traffic, no flags, and plenty of grip coming back. More on this, please. Here's the flags though. 2 karts didn't make it out of the final corner. I've had to run all 4 wheels over the water this time. Three karts are off at turn 1, more yellow flags just as I've caught Dan. It was an easy pass on the brakes though. Sky's looking a bit more confident with her kart too now. But a switch back through turns 1 and 2 sees me get past. There's not long left now, so I'm hoping the rain holds off. I made it across the line with 2 seconds to spare. I whoop as I get another lap. I lived for that yellow light, but the marshal isn't waving the flag. I quickly realised he was waiting for the next set of carts to start waving. And there, despite that lift, is my quickest lap of the session. I'm the quickest driver on track once again, but this time by a whole second. The next fastest driver only managed a 1:03.592. Paul went 4th fastest with a 1:05.463. Sky was 6th with a 1:05.661 on her final lap, and Dan was down in 8th with a 1:05.969 also on his final lap. They were all really tight on times. That's it, 2023 complete. The next video you'll see will have been recorded in 2024. It's been a great year with lots of ups and downs. Mostly ups though, which is great. This year I want to go further. I'm planning for 5 new indoor tracks and 3 new outdoor tracks. I'll be revisiting some of the old favourites too. If I can make it work at least once a month, I want to visit a track that isn't Sheffield. Sheffield will only be Thursday night members events, no more 3-for-2s. Of course there is my exclusive Grand Prix, my community race on the 27th of January. I'll make an exception for that one. If you haven't yet booked a spot, head on over to robgoes.racing/shop to see if there is any space left. The spaces have started filling quickly since the start of this year. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please hit that like button leave feedback down in the comments, and maybe even subscribe to the channel too. 2024 has started with a bang already, with 2 videos already recorded at 2 different tracks. So until next time, cheers.